Hey everybody, got another video for you today. I wanted to walk you through exactly what I'm doing. For those that have been watching these videos before, this is my background. First of all, I am not an investment advisor. I don't have a license. I don't pretend to. I'm not sitting here telling you that this is, investment advice. I'm just telling you that, walking you through what I've done. And my background, for those that aren't familiar, first of all, when the market's normal, I suck. You might as well just stop at my house and I can hand you the money because it's probably better than burning it or just losing it. But when weird things happen in the market, not in the market, but like in the world, I've made a ton of money. First time it happened was I think in '09, the BP oil spill, and I basically, long story short, made enough money to put a down payment on a beach house here in San Diego. Fast forward a number of years when COVID hit. I quickly identified an opportunity. They said it was 2 weeks to slow the spread or to slow the curve or whatever curve it was. And the market was down like 70% in certain sectors. And I just realized, man, this is going to go up. I get this kind of a discount. And I turned about $30,000 into about 200,000. So, and from that, I used the money basically to go to law school. And recently passed the bar, and just waiting to get my certification from the state of California. So, with that in mind, one of the things I saw with this, if you're not familiar with this video, is before the election, it was basically an option if Kamala was going to win or Trump was going to win. If Kamala won, there's a certain direction the stock market would have gone as far as sectors and performance and things like that. And if Trump won, it was a completely different one. So if you go back on this channel, I think it's October 30th, I called my shot. I told you exactly who was going to win, how much they were going to win by, why they were going to win. And it's not me being a political prognosticator. It's just me doing math and having a background in media. So I kind of knew how to interpret polls and what you read in the news or hear on the news and that kind of thing. 90% of it is full on lie and propaganda. And the other 10% you kind of got to hunt down. And so since then, I've walked you through a little bit about, in generality, kind of what I'm looking to do. But I spent some time this week, and I have a really solid plan exactly what I want to do. And I'll show you the stocks that I'm looking at and some of the stocks that I've bought and why. So, all right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to walk you through, and this is why reading, if you read your news from one place, you're going to get poor. I mean, that's just a fact. I will tell you, working in media, people don't buy media properties, meaning TV stations and cable news channels, because they're money makers. They are not. They do it because they're propaganda channels, and you own an audience. You can either own a local audience by buying a newspaper or a local TV station, or you can own a demographic audience. If you want to completely own the mindset of a lefty, go to MSNBC. If you want a little bit older, not quite radical, but still lefty, you can go to CNN. If you're like 90 years old and you're relatively conservative, then you can go to Fox News. So anyway, one of the things that I wanted to do is I was reading this in the midst of this week. Trump's making all his cabinet picks, right? One cabinet pick, everybody's talking about Tulsi. Everybody's talking about Matt Gaetz and Robert F. Kennedy, and that's literally just smoke and mirrors. Like that's not the important stuff. Some of the cabinet secretaries, if you want to make money, are the ones that nobody's talking about. So I want to talk to you about one of them. I nominated for the SEC chairman, and so like if you're thinking, okay, well, why? The SEC is a civil enforcement agency for securities, right? They can't prosecute, they can't arrest you. That's the FBI's job. All they can do is civilly fine you, right? Or they can take away your securities license if you're a broker. I mean, that's really all they can do. Or they can refer you to the FBI. Why is that important? Well, the guy who he nominated not for the SEC, for the Department of Energy, that guy we'll talk about in a sec too. As far as the SEC guy, he's a crypto guy. And he's a big crypto guy. So I'm not going to really cover crypto today, but if you look at the guy's background, The guy is a big crypto guy. He wants to deregulate the market. So does Trump. And you're going to see crypto continue to go up. But the Department of Energy, which is not a really sexy one, right? It's like Department of Interior and things like that. It might be one of the biggest ones as far as making money that you're going to have. So he taps a guy named Chris Wright, and he is the CEO of Liberty Energy. I have no idea what Liberty Energy is. I have no clue. But one of the things that he is known for is he's a longtime fracking advocate. And that means Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas, and some other states. He helped launch the American shale revolution in the mid 2000s and throwing the Dakotas on it too. And so what it means is if you're not familiar with what this is, it used to be that you had to, you dig for an oil, and if you found it, you found it. But then what happens is when they would find oil beneath like massive layers of rock and granite, and they couldn't get to it directly, what they would do is they would inject liquid materials into the rock to crack the rock open, to fracture the rock. And then what would happen is you have all this oil under pressure when it would come up, and there's massive oil reserves. That's what they call fracking. Fractured, something like that. Fractured, whatever. So anyway, this guy is one of the main guys. So this guy is one of the leading people for finding and drilling for oil wherever you can find it. And they just tapped him as the Secretary of Energy. So what do you think they're going to do for energy regulations? They're going to deregulate through the roof. He wants to dig. He wants to get oil. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is oil stocks. Not necessarily oil companies, but everything related to the whole industry. So the first one we're going to talk about today is one called Full House. And actually, we'll hold off on that one. We'll come back because that's a separate one. Okay, we'll go clean energy fuels here. Okay, this one here is provision of natural gas as an alternative fuel for vehicle fleets. Basically, just think buses, right? Things like, it's not just buses, but for the most part, it's liquefied natural gas vehicle fueling stations, manufactured. I don't know what CNG is, liquid natural gas equipment technologies. So basically, this is a big natural gas company, right? And they're on the back end as far as once it's out of the ground, they're there to supply it for, buses and, whatever larger fleets that have to do with that. So when we look at these stocks, one of the things I want to look at, obviously the rating, we have an 89% buy rate. We look, and in the last 3 quarters, they've blown out their numbers. This is their estimate. This is what they told Wall Street that they do, and they blew it out. 3 quarters in a row, they did that. So then we're going to go to, Yahoo Finance. Now, one of the things, there's only one thing on here really one area I want to focus on, and that's this analyst recommendations. And they do a really good job of coalescing them. And they have almost everybody's a buy. Some of them are strong buys, and you have a couple stragglers that are on a hold. And they show a average price target of 729. Okay, so this one is sitting here at 266. So if you look over the course of a year, it's been up at 4. Let me just make sure I have that right. Yeah, it has a price target of 725. And it's gotten all the way up to 17 before. I mean, that was really during COVID for the most part. But even after COVID, it was still sitting up here at 9. So this is one I definitely wanted to buy. And so I have a buy order in for that at 465. Oh wait, no, that was Full House. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's see, at 262, I actually put a buy order in at 262 for 3,000 shares right here. And it's at 266. So this is one that I see that guy for the Department of Energy really having an impact on. All right, next one is, let's see, we'll move over. That's a different segment we'll finish off on. All right, Schlumberger. Fair enough. I have never heard of this company before I started doing research. And anyway, one of the things I'll kind of let you know about this company is provision of energy technology. That usually means they're going to be like affiliated with drilling, but not necessarily the actual drilling. So digital integration, reservoir performance, well construction, production system. So they're basically the equipment for the oil drilling, basically making it more profitable for the people who are drilling. So, so basically, they're like the driller's best friend. So we look over the course of the last year, it's been as high as 55, sitting at 43 right now. It's gone as low as about 40, so we're near the bottom. And this has a 94% buy rating, but it's still want to go to Yahoo Finance. So we'll go to SLB. I think that was the ticker for that. And huge. I mean, just solid. They love this thing. They put a price target of $57. It's sitting at 43 right now. And so I put one in at 43.57. I bought 300 shares of this. And it's basically sitting right about where I had it. So anyway, this one's, I think, a big upside. This is probably one of the more underrated stocks we're going to talk about. All right, another stock I'd never heard about until recently, Devon Energy. All right, this one, exploration, development, production of oil. So these are the people that do the drill. This is one of the drillers. Works in the Delaware Basin, Eagle Ford, heavy oil. Don't know where that's at. Barnett Shale. Don't know where that's at. Stack and Rockies oil. I imagine Rockies is in Colorado. Other than that, I really don't know anything about them. But they're headquartered in Oklahoma City. That's a big oil area. Let's see here. 62% buy, which normally doesn't super excite me. So I want to see a much higher number. But we still want to look at these numbers. So analyst recommendations, generally pretty good. Some hold. We have a good split in opinion here. 51, 49. It's sitting at 37. So it's on my list. I have it right here. It's on my list of stocks that I'm going to do, but I'm not ready to quite pull the trigger yet. So it might be one for the future. All right. Let's All right, Target Hospitality. This is probably just, I just love this one. Basically, I'll tell you what they do is they do residential and they do hospitality for drilling. So if somebody's drilling, they're going to provide the residences and the food service and things like that. It's definitely up and down. It was sitting about 11.25, took a massive hit down to 7.50, up to 10 down there. But this is one that the more oil they drill, the less regulated the industry is, the more money they're going to make. So let's take a look to see if they have a buy rating. I don't think they do, but we can always look at Yahoo Finance. They've had lower numbers. Of course, this is partly the Biden administration, so I am not blaming them, but they always hit or exceed their numbers, so that's really cool. So let's take a look at, let's see, TH. And this stock I learned about during COVID, like during the late COVID time that I had some money in. All right, hold ratings has a 10, 50, still a little bit high, but I still think this is I think this is an underrated stock. I think these people are just, I think these are old during the Biden administration, but I think these are going to change. So for me, I have this on my list right here, and it's one that I'm definitely going to look at doing. So, all right. Phillips 66 is what it is. It's the gas station company, right? So they're the people who sell the gas. after it's been drilled, refined, transported, etc. So let's take a look over the last year. It's been a high of about 172. It's sitting at 131 right now. Definitely pretty much near its low. All right, 67% buy rating. And let's take a look. PSX. So again, kind of a split decision, but again, we're not looking historically here because this is all before Trump for the most part, but has a 141 price, a little bit higher than this. Again, it's on my list, but I'm not pulling the trigger on it yet. But definitely one that I'm looking at. All right, Marathon, same thing. The gas stations. All right, 55% buy rating. Definitely lower from the Biden, but they still hit their numbers. I mean, they missed it a little bit here, but they hit their numbers every other time. So that's good. It means you're not going to have some crazy stock drop because they just are very, just because they're very like inconsistent in a sense. So, all right. So Marathon is MPC. So I assume that's Marathon Petroleum Corporation, which it is. Generally pretty good for the most part, but some holds here and maybe a sell or two. Priced at 170, it's sitting at 158. Again, I have it on my list. Not really, it's not like something I'm totally going to buy immediately. All right, Occidental Petroleum. I've heard of them before. All right, exploration, production of oil and natural gas. These are drillers, okay? Oil and gas, chemical, midstream. That's basically the refining and transporting of the gas. That's what midstream is. And marketing. Don't know what that necessarily means. Develops and produces oil and condensate, natural gas liquids, and natural gas. Probably a big fracker because that's a lot of fracking is going to be natural gas for the most part. Um, Purchases, markets, gathers, processes, transports, and stores oil, condensate, natural gas liquids, natural gas, carbon dioxide, and power. So basically, like they're the midstream people. All right, so we have them. 34% buy, big hold there. This is where I love looking at Yahoo Finance because it'll give a completely, you get multiple recommendations in a sense, or analyst recommendations. Let's see what they say here. Definitely the big thing is hold. You have some believers in the buy, but it's weird because you have like buy and you have a strong buy. So we'll pay attention to that. It has a price target of 63. It's sitting at 50. So I have it here. Definitely going to keep looking at it. But I think this one has some upside. I think this buy rating is going to change at some point. So, all right, Technic FMC. I have no clue what this is. I was looking at it last night. All right, energy service company, provision of solutions for the production and transformation of hydrocarbons. So again, it's like midstream in a sense. Subsea and surface technology, so drilling in the ocean or drilling on land. Well, that doesn't narrow things down at all. Engineering, procurement, and project management. So I'm guessing they're the ones that identify where the oil is. Services used by oil and gas companies involved in offshore exploration. Yeah, so these are the people that tell them where the oil is, basically. And this is an area of big regulation when the Democrats were in office. So you talk about a regulation getting pulled. I think these people are primed for a huge turnaround. So still has a 75% buy rating. Let's take a look. Did they hit their numbers? Yeah, they blew out their numbers. I mean, this is awesome. Like I can't even imagine something that is as good as that is. So with that being said, let's find their ticker symbol. All right, that is FT. What is their ticker symbol? All right, we'll find out. I'm just copying it out of the URL. All right, They are FTI. That's what that is. All right. Analyst recommendations overall, some hold, generally a good buy. Has a 31, basically 32 price target. It's sitting at 28. I think this is going to change dramatically as well. And again, we have those guys down here. All right, Chenier. And I always remember this because I had this girl that I went to school with, and that was her first name. I think she was from Kenya, but this company is from like Houston. Where is this? Where are they at here? Yeah, they're from Houston, Texas. So I'm not sure what that's about, but I recognize that name, and I was like, all right, we'll see what that means. But liquefied natural gas related businesses, owns and operates terminals, develops, constructs, and operates liquefaction projects near Corpus Christi. So they're going to be in a big time involved in the Gulf of Mexico drilling on that side. 84% buy rating, and I mean low because of the Biden, but they always hit their numbers, so that's kind of cool. So they are, let's see, LNG. I mean, you gotta like company when they know what they do. Like you have a company named Chenier, and they just go liquid natural gas. So a lot of buy ratings, couple strong buy ratings. It's 220 a share right now. It's a 218 price target. I think that's gonna, honestly, I see that again going up. Not as much as maybe the other ones, but it's definitely worth taking a look at. IHS Holdings. All right, this one, I think, are we done with? No, we're not done. Okay, so we'll move that because that's a different segment. All right, Sasol. Now this is a gas company, but it's not an American gas company. Um, Chemical and energy company, business of sourcing, producing, and marketing chemical and energy products. That doesn't really tell us a whole lot. Covers mining, gas, and fuel segments. So they're diggers. Chemical products operations located in Africa, America, and Eurasia. And I was looking at that. That's right. I'm like, geez, why don't you just name every continent? You got Africa, both Americas, and Europe and Asia. So you got 5 continents there. That doesn't exactly narrow it down. Headquartered in Johannesburg, South Africa. So 63% buy rating. I hate when they don't put a lot of numbers here, but they're a foreign company. So, be that as it may, sometimes those are a little hard to read. Sometimes they're amazing, but sometimes kind of shooting in the dark a little bit. So for Sasol, yeah, they don't really say much. I see one buy rating and has a price target of 10, but doesn't really tell us. So I'll keep my eye on it. I have it down here, but it's not like a huge thing for me. I've bought it before, but I just don't know yet. So I'll keep my eye on it and see, kind of how things play out. All right, Diamondback Energy, gotta love them. Their ticker symbol is FANG. So they were kind of low, but they've generally done pretty well. But the last few months they've dropped down, so that caught my attention. Let's see, oil and natural gas company, acquisition, development, exploration, and exploitation of unconventional onshore oil. This is fracking. They're frackers. And natural gas reserves. That's exactly what they are. So they're frackers. Which means that they're going to love this energy secretary. 77% buy rate. And keep in mind, these buy rates are before the election. So, and let's see, did they hit their numbers? Except for the last one, they hit their numbers, I mean, pretty much spot on the whole time. So, and I will tell you, having worked for a public company, Wall Street loves consistency. Well, to be honest, they probably love it when you crush it too, but they really do like consistency. Strong buys, a lot of strong buys. Price target of 216. It's at 180. I think this is another big one. It's the only thing that I have bad to say about this is I don't think there's much of an upside. Like, could have bought it here at 33, but it's sitting here at 140. So, I think really what we're trying to do is trying to find if it gets up to 200 again. Where is it at here? About 210. Trying to take advantage of that. I love the stock. I just don't think there's a ton of upside. All right. PBF Energy, petroleum refineries. This is the midstream one. Unbranded transportation fuels. I have no idea what that means. Heating oil, petrochemical feedstocks. So basically corporate farms, lubricants, and other petrochemical products in the United States. It's basically oil of all kinds, right? Refining crude oil and other feedstocks, owning, leasing, operation, development, acquisition of crude oil and petroleum product terminals. So they manage they lease the land out, and they deal with kind of a little bit of everything, a lot of the equipment. So I think they're going to be in a good spot to take a look at. So 6% buy, 75% hold. And this is just weird. You go up here to down low, and then they hit their numbers. But let's take a look at this one on Yahoo. And this is a good example. I think this one, when you don't know how to read it on Robinhood, you can definitely go to Yahoo, and it'll help clear things up for the most part. Yeah, a lot of big hold. So 32 buy. It's basically sitting at its target. So maybe it does something, maybe it doesn't, but I still have it listed down here. All right, so with that in mind, we're going to do a couple different segments. All right, this is a COVID stock that I had, and it's weird. Sometimes you get these biotech companies, and what's really weird is they'll get, well, it's 57% now, but they used to always be like 100% buy rates. And this one just really historically did well for me. So it's kind of a flyer stock for the most part. But anyway, it's small molecule drugs. I'm not really sure what that is, for serious diseases, commercializing therapies for the treatment of cystic fibrosis, infectious diseases, including viral infections. So I don't know if they do vaccines. I mean, to be fair enough, like I used to know more about this stock than I knew. Rheumatoid arthritis, cancer, inflammatory bowel. I mean, just pretty much a little bit of everything. And so typically when you see these type of stocks, it's like the stock's going to hover for a while. So kind of got to be patient on them. And then when they get through like a phase 3 trial, sometimes the stock takes off. So it'll sit down here at 354, and next thing you know, the stock's worth 500, right? So anyway, I really like the stock, but the problem is like, are you, did somebody already get the benefit of the price increase? So TK. And so are you buying high, right? So, oh no, VKTX, that's why. Okay. I say that doesn't make any sense. VKTX. Yeah, and so I bought this stock down here, and it probably, I think, went up to like here. I didn't stick around for the whole thing, but the stock did really well when I owned it. I mean, just all buys, solid buys, 112 price target. It's sitting at 51. So I'm going to look at it just because this stock has just been awesome, but you have to be patient on them. All right, now we're going to talk about the last real main segment I want to talk about is mortgage companies. I was talking this about my wife the other day. And one of the things you're going to find is this is an interest rate thing. So right when the interest rates went up, everybody that had like a 3 or 4% mortgage, when all of a sudden the mortgages were $7 and the prices stayed high, there's no way they're going to sell their house. I mean, why would you sit here and sell a 3% mortgage to go sell a property, buy a property, and get a 7% mortgage? And then in a place like California where I live, instead of paying the low property tax, you pay the new property tax, right? And so it's kind of like the Titanic when it was just bobbing there and it wasn't moving, right? But underneath, as the water was starting to fill the ship, it would start to sink. And basically, the analogy is that as the interest rates start going down, that concern about trading a 3 for a 7% mortgage isn't going to be as much when it's a 3 for a 5. And people realize that they have equity in their house, and they realize that they're going to have to sell at some point. And if they wait and the interest rates go down and they start to see more for sale signs in their neighborhood and on their street, I think you're going to see a deluge of them. But with that, no matter what pace it is, I think the mortgage companies have gotten hammered the last 2 years because nobody's selling. Nobody's selling, nobody's buying, and it's been an absolutely terrible segment to work in. But I think that's going to change massively. So I decided to look at some of the mortgage stocks, and it's a segment that I've never really looked at before. So Rocket companies, you've heard Rocket Mortgage on TV. Basically, they are a technology. They're a mortgage. They're an online mortgage company, and I don't know if they sell them to other. Let's take a look and see if they do. They sell them to other financial institutions. Provision of a suite of services related to home ownership and other personal financial transactions. Yeah, they'll do some other financial products. Direct consumer and partner network. All right, so that means that they'll have their own mortgage that you pay, or they'll do a mortgage for other companies or banks or financial institutions, and they'll do the online part and then just sell the mortgage to them, or just they'll do the technology and they'll arrange the mortgage for that other company. So anyway, big player in the market. So we'll take a look at them. Big hold. What? Duh. I mean, look where the market's been. That's exactly right. So this number is not going to stay the same. There's no way. They've hit their numbers. The numbers have been going up. It's crazy that their numbers have been going up. So let's take a look and see what Yahoo has to say about that. RKT, I think is right. Yep. So it's sitting at 1371. Yeah, this is the whole market that we looked at, but I don't think this is the market going forward. 15 bucks a share. So yeah, I think we're getting early on this one. So this is one that I'm probably going to get in on next. That's probably going to be my next stock that I hit. So, in fact, let's do this. Just let me go back to there, and I want to talk about when I'm going to buy it. All right, so I generally look at a year just to give me a good sense of where things are at. Maybe 5 years, we'll take a look. It's gone up, and then the market sucked since Biden's been president. I mean, this is literally from the inflation time, as we see here. And then Biden got out of the Biden got out of the race right here, and it went up. And then Kamala got up, and they weren't sure, and it went down. So with that being said, let's take a look at it over the last year. This might be the bottom here. So I might want to put something in. If I get it 13, it might go up to 20. I might just say 1375, and I'll put it in order. And I don't know how many I'm going to do, but that I think is going to be my price point. All right, let's look at two more. I think two more in this segment. PennyMac, same thing. They're a mortgage company, operates a holding company. That just means they own other companies. Servicing of U.S. residential mortgage loans. So basically, you get the mortgage, they sell to a company like PennyMac, and then they're the ones that do collections. But they also do loan production. That means actually arranging the loan servicing, and investment management. Investment management means they sell it to the bond market. So they do a little bit of everything in this area. All right, so probably going to see something very similar. So, 78% buy. That's pretty awesome. Numbers, they're hitting or beating their numbers all the time. So that's really good. And let's do PFSI, I believe. Nope. Well, helps if I type that in correctly. PFSI. All right. All right. Big buy ratings. 130. What is that? 124 buy rating, 120. So that's another really good one. I'll definitely look. I still like Rocket more, but it's something I'm still going to look at. So let's take a look at the price history over the last 5 years. Again, we're not necessarily getting on the low end of the market, but they're still looking at where things are at. So over the course of the last year, it's been as low as 78 bucks, been as high as 116, and it's sitting here at 104. I like to see the lowest dip, 99. So maybe if we do it, we'll do it at 100 per share. And we'll go from there. All right, last mortgage one, Loan Depot. And I've always heard of them, but I don't know what they do. Originating, financing, selling, and service. Okay, kind of the same thing. Title, escrow. I mean, they just do everything. Hence the name, probably Loan Depot. Um, all right, let's at least get that ready when we come back to that. All right, do we have any buy ratings? No, we don't have any buy ratings. Numbers are a little bit inconsistent. Miss, hit, beat. It's hard to say. All right, so it's been as low as $1.61, as high as $3.51. So I think this is a really good one for Yahoo to tell us about. So LDI, assumingly Loan Depot Incorporated. Okay, so this one's definitely a little bit more on the negative side, but again, we're looking at it during the Biden administration, so that really doesn't mean too much. Still a price target of 274. So I think this is a sneaky one to take a look at. I would say that if we're going to do that, I would want to see it got down to about $2, and it's sitting here at what, 227. I would say it seems like 2 is the natural place it ends for the most part. I would say if it gets down to 2, we'll look at buying that. All right, so let's get into some just kind of miscellaneous things we're going to hit on. IHS Holding. Let's see, mobile telecommunications infrastructure, Nigeria, Sub-Saharan Africa, Middle East. And these are all places where China is doing this. So Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Rwanda, Zambia, Brazil, Colombia, Peru, and Kuwait, Egypt, I mean, all over the world. So, all right, so this one I was looking at 88% buy rate, misses their numbers, but not by much. Kind of an interesting one. I'm not super sold on it. Let's take a look at what Yahoo has to say. I feel like this is like my magic 8-ball. IHS Holdings. Okay, generally strong buy. Target 725. It's sitting at 280. So this one is something. All right, we're going to take a look at this one. I mean, that is a huge upside. So problem is I don't like that. So they offered it. That's your IPA. That's your IPO at 1760. Went down. Of course, this was like during COVID. Went down to 527. Bounced up to 978, and really hasn't shown much. So I have this stock down about 37. So for me, I don't know. I'm torn. I guess I'll leave it. I have it listed here. Where do I have that listed? Maybe I don't even. Yeah, I have it listed here. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it, but I'll look at it another day. Definitely very torn. All right, we'll look at some of the betting stocks real quick and wrap up. DraftKings obviously do mobile betting. It's just kind of all over the map, highs and lows. We're really at the high point, so that kind of tells me I don't want to do it immediately. But it has an 84% buy rate, and they always beat their numbers. And I still say when it comes to these, when California authorizes sports gambling and allows that to happen, I think these stocks are going to go through the roof. So something to pay attention to on that side. DraftKings, as far as analysts, huge buy, some hold, huge buy. Let's see, 50%, $50 target. It's sitting at 43. And for me, I already own it. So I'll show you where my holdings are for that. Basically, I'm broke even on it right now. I have about 15 grand in this stock. I would say my price point is about 43. Yeah, I'd say if it got down to like 35, 36, I'd probably buy it again. So maybe let's take a look at this. Do I have that here? Well, I just bought it at 40. So if it gets down to 36, I might do it again. But I just bought it. So, just shows you what I'm looking at. MGM Resorts, same thing. They have an online, they have a MGM, a BetMGM app, and then they have the actual properties. The last year it's gone as high as 46. It's gone as low as, not far after, actually, 34. 79% buy rate. They beat their numbers every time. Let's take a look at MGM. And again, when California legalizes gambling, all bets are off. So they love this stock. They put a price target of 50 on it. It's sitting at 36. I just bought it at 37. So let's take a look at where my portfolio is on this guy. So I'm up about 6%, have another 14 grand in it. And again, the reason I hold these stocks is the California thing. I just still say that's going to be the biggest thing. And then Full House Resorts, it's a little bit related to that. So ownership, leasing, development, operation, and management. So they're a real estate company for gaming, hospitality, and entertainment facilities. Mississippi, Indiana. It's basically the Mississippi River. So the riverboats, Colorado, Nevada, probably Vegas or Reno, and contracted sports wagering. So again, we're still looking at California because these really are borderless companies. Haven't really hit their numbers lately, and we don't have a target on them. So let's take a look at Full House, FLL, and just see where Yahoo has that. So it's sitting at 470. Yahoo has at what? A $6 target. Overall, it's kind of mixed. So I think I still do. I have a buy-in at 465 on this one. So I think I just missed the buy right there. Tells you my price point was pretty good, right? I mean, look at that, 465. And where's the bottom right there? 465. So I think it was just there for just a half second. So I'm staying there with that buy. Or maybe it canceled. Shoot. I don't know why I canceled. We'll figure that out. But I still have a buy on that. I have some money in that right now, about 7 grand. And I'm looking to add another 7 grand on top of that. So that is kind of what I'm looking at right now. So right now, just full transparency, I have about 70 grand in there. I made about $1,000 today. And I have 10 grand of money to spend. But so anyway, that's where I'm at right now. If you guys have any questions, any stocks you want me to just look at and evaluate, again, I don't look at it from a technical perspective. I can't stand people, not the people. Could never imagine sitting here with 7 monitors looking at charts all the time. But you look at it from a street smarts way. How would somebody on the street look at this stock? And right now we're looking at oil because they're going to deregulate everything and just start putting needles in the ground and in the water. And then the mortgage industry, I think, is going to explode. I just think it's going to explode. I think it's free money sitting out there. So if you have any questions for me, let me know. Things you hate. If you hated this video, let me know. If you love it, you can let me know. That's fine. I'd rather you say you hated it than love it because at least it's more interesting. But either way, put a comment in, like it, subscribe, and hit, click the little bell so you get notified of these videos. Some people put out videos at the same time every day. I'm not putting a video out just to put a video out. If you see a video from me, it's because I have something really, really amazing for you. So anyway, with that being said, last thing I would say is you're not investing to make money. I think that's a mistake. If all you're doing is to make money and the person wins when they die, that's not it. I'm doing this because I got to pay off my student loan debt. I have prior videos where I talk about that. So my goal, the minimum, is to get over 100,000, but I legitimately think I could probably get up to 150. The way things are going to go. So that being said, comment on the video, tell me you love it, tell me you hate it, and I will see you on the next video. To get more information on the sales cheat code, go ahead and click on the subscribe button below. Also, down below in the video description, down there, there's a link that takes you to our website that gives you additional content, some additional freebies that we have, and gives you information on some programs that we have that have been proven to help people to make sales easy so that you can make the kind of money you want, live the lifestyle that you've always wanted, and not have to struggle in the process. And what might be the coolest thing of all is you don't have to put much effort into it. It truly is a cheat code that most people don't know about. And it's a cheat code that can change your life today. So click on the link below and let me help you start to experience these results starting right now.